And the next thing, as a captain, if you maneuver in a vessel and you feel like like this boat is gonna sink, is any port for a storm. A ship carry depth sounder that you could tell, the depth of the water, or some of them might just get a capacity where it could read up to 200 feet, and then it's not going to show you anything more. You're supposed to start alting to the closest part that even that the boat sunk, that it's gonna ground, and it's not gonna get a chance for fully submerged. That was full neglect. That was full neglect. The crew, they ain't doing the right thing. They didn't do the right thing. They didn't carry out the normal NSP. The normal safety precaution didn't carry out. Well, yes, my peeps, who may not know me, Paul Perry, aka the Chorus Boss, singer-songwriter and ex Lance Corporal of the Guyana Defense Force Coast Guard. And my take on this incident, tragic or accident that occurred. First of all, I have some photography to show. To show that's me. GDF Coast Guard. GDF Coast Guard. There. This on board. Okay. My take on this incident that occurred. Ship maintenance is defined as a cleanliness and presentation of a ship structure, its opening and fitting system, and good appearance without and within. It means the ship must always maintain, must always be well painted, and all of the fitting system. That mean like pipes and pumps and every gauges must be in working condition at all time. Now, as a person like to give you demo, right? Okay, this is the body of a ship, which is called a hull. This is from a side view, and this is from the top or aerial view. Okay, these numbers that is here, that displays here, is for tell is by the capacity. This does reveal how many tonnage is on board of the vessel. As the vessel keep loading, these numbers will rise as the boat sinks, or submerge, right? So this is the part that you call the draft. Okay, as a captain or experienced seaman, from getting on board or approaching a vessel, from you watch the hull, you could tell the weight that is on the boat. And they have a prescriptive amount of weight that a vessel is supposed to be carrying. So now if you load in a vessel, you can put 40 ton on the port and 10 ton on the starboard. I mean like 40 ton on the right and 40 ton and 50 ton on the left, because on sea you don't say left and right, you say port and starboard, right? Okay. Now, when you get on board there, when you start maneuvering the vessel, a big vessel or a small vessel, as the captain might hold on his M's, the wheels, right? Or the steering, right? And with a smaller boat, we say the handle, right? From you start maneuvering the vessel, you will feel that the vessel is not fully in command by you. Because as you alter port or starboard or left or right, the boat gonna give you extra something because of the water. If it's the amount of water, the water gonna hit in the walls, and the boat is not gonna be too steady. It's gonna be in that kind of position. Okay. the crew members that work in the engineers department, they supposed to making a 15 minutes routine check every 15 minutes, checking and make sure that all gauges, you know, are working, are working. They wouldn't be the person easily to recognize if the boat is taking in water unless if it got, if it got a puncture or something along somewhere along that area that they is. But down at the back, where the seaman crews be, the people who will doing most of the time ship maintenance and firefighting, damage control. Okay, now this part now we call the compartment. As you load in the boat now, if you realize that the boat is kind of leaning too much on one side, I mean one side got too much of weight than the other side, right? All right, sometimes even when the boat done fully loaded, you still realize like some side got a little, so they got the hatches where they get intake, right? An outlet of water where you could intake some water, or outlet some water, that to get the boat balanced. Now, as a vessel head on the way now, on its way, you as the captain, as you start to maneuver this vessel, you feel that this vessel in fully in command. And then now the engine now. If the engine is not pushing the vessel fast enough as the amount of knots that it's supposed to, that it could plane off and raise a little more higher above the surface of the water and move away from the swelling that keep approaching and hitting the vessel every second, right? Even if the boat end up submerged a little, it's gonna rise again. It's gonna rise again. Because even if it's big swelling, it's gonna rise again. But if it got that kind of weight, dead weight, when it go and try to lift, it wouldn't lift because it already submerged and it got too much of weight. So there was full neglect by the crew. And the next thing, I sailed many times in Guyana on operation, on exercise, on port cars, on smaller vessels, and even on board the GDFS Equipment. I spent 2 years on GDFS Equipment. I went to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I've been to Barbados, and then patrol a lot of time from Whiney, Moro Passage, all the way to the Quarantine River on patrols. Rosignol to Port Carl, Purico, Linden to Port Carl, and experience being on a boat. That was full neglect. They was lackadaisical. And the next thing, as a captain, if you maneuver in a vessel and you feel like like this boat is gonna sink, is any port for a storm. A ship carry depth sounder that you could tell the depth of the water, or some of them might just get a capacity where it could read up to 200 feet and then it's not going to show you anything more. You're supposed to start halting to the closest part that the boat sunk, that it's going to ground, and and it's not going to get a chance for fully submerged. That was full neglect. The crew, they ain't doing the right thing. They didn't do the right thing. They didn't carry out the normal NSP. The normal safety precaution didn't carry out.